you just watched?
Oh.
The Simpsons.
Oh.
Season 11,
Oh.
episode, I don't know, Kill the Alligator and Run. So, Shit's Peak, the worst of a thing. So, things that are considered...
we've come from the heights of Deadwood Season 2.
Which we've just recorded saying how great Deadwood Season 2 was.
And how rich and wonderful and deep it is. And let's just talk about Deadwood instead of this.
No,
I think like 10 minutes of Deadwood is funnier. Sorry, 20 minutes worth of Deadwood is funnier than this episode.
Of course it was. Anything was.
Yeah.
So, considered
Schindler's List is funnier.
Schindler's List is funnier. So, the fact Deadwood was cancelled was funnier than this. So, things that are considered to be the worst of something. So we did Lulu because it was considered the worst of Lou Reed. We've done another Simpsons. I've done another Simpsons episode, Saddlesore Galactica, which is almost like a twinning to this episode. Saddlesore Galactica is ridiculous and it makes no sense, and that's why everyone hates it. What did you think of Kill the Alligator and Run? Anyone who hasn't watched it, this is the episode where Homer goes mental, goes to spring break, then they kill an alligator, and that's, yeah.
I hated it.
It was an awful episode of television.
I hated it.
You hated it.
I hated it. It was awful.
It was awful. So, a lot of people have a go at The Simpsons later seasons because they rely on pointless guest stars. They're ludicrous.
Which episode has it? It's got a cameo from Kid Rock.
Yeah, and JC. Don't forget JC.
And JC.
Who was barely a celebrity.
Yeah, and that movie producer.
Robert Evans.
Okay.
Charlie Ross as well.
Charlie Ross.
Who was a popular TV show host in America. But they don't serve any story function.
Yep, check.
Interesting that we're reviewing this at a similar time on the timeline of what we've done to Lisa's Substitute, which utilised Dustin Hoffman so very well.
Yes.
He was an integral part of the show and it felt like an Academy Award winning actor giving a performance. Yes. This just feels like Kid Rock turning up on set doing his stick. Hey, I really like The Simpsons! I want to be in a Simpsons episode! Because if you think about comparing this to an episode it's a lot like Simpsons Homer Palooza. Which this just rips off constantly with its making it about spring break and Homer trying to regain his youth.
Remember when Smashing Pumpkins was considered hip?
No?
No, I don't either. Apparently in the time of Palooza they were.
Smashing Punk with their two good songs. Anyway, so Homer Palooza is a brilliant resonant episode about how Homer is trying to get his youth back by going to, what is it? Is it Lollapalooza?
Lollapalooza, yeah.
Which also, is that even a thing anymore?
Yes, it's still a thing. It's still a thing.
He goes to Lollapalooza and it's this resonant, brilliant episode all about how Homer is trying to regain his past and it's brilliant. It works on an emotional level and it's funny. This doesn't work on any of those levels because there's not enough time given to Homer trying to, his mental breakdown. It's just the first 2 minutes. He's had a mental breakdown. Next 2 minutes, it's a comedy about Florida. Next 2 minutes.
Which again, like, you know, I was saying this during review and I don't know much about like regional dialects in America, but I'm pretty sure they don't talk with a southern twang
accent
in Florida. Like, well, gee golly gosh, y'all, we're going down by the bayou. American fans, please confirm this because we don't know anything.
Yeah, do Florida people speaking as poor an accent, like a southern accent, as strong as the guy does in this Simpsons episode?
Because he's characterised as being like one of them, like, you know, like white suited southern people.
Yeah.
You know, like with his pocket watch, stuff like that. He's characterised as being a bit like that, but like, I'm pretty sure it's not like that in Florida.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Flamingo Land, man.
Flamingo Land.
No Flamingo. Disneyland.
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 Universal Studios.
Exactly. They don't have any white suited people there.
No.
Where's Flamingo Land?
It's in like Yorkshire.
There's another Flamingo Land.
No.
Isn't there? I thought there was Flamingo Land in America as well.
No, but it's like Flamingo Land's like a place in like Yorkshire. It's just like it's a little bit of a shit amusement park with a zoo.
Is it Leeds?
I don't know where it is.
Oh, anyway, we're just about Flamingo Land.
I think it's near Hull.
All right. Anyway, back to the episode.
I don't think there's any flamingos either.
So, this episode's main problem, and a problem with almost all later Simpsons ones, it can't stay on one track.
Yes, it's one of the first episodes. Well, it's not one of the first episodes, but it's it's a really good example of where an episode will open with a plot thread, and we'll end in a completely different plot thread.
Yeah.
So the opening, Homer has a mental breakdown. Okay, right, great. Ends with them in jail, and then they're serving drinks to like a reception or a party, and then an alligator comes back to life. Like, where did you get that? Well, how did you get to those points? And it's just for writers, like you say, if I had about 15 scenes, or 15 jokes more like, and then they tried to tie them all together in a thread.
Yeah.
Tie them up. Didn't work.
Didn't work. Well, it's because there's no connecting tissue. Basically, I think for The Simpsons to be great, I'm not talking about just good, which this episode isn't anyway, but for it to be great, it has to have some kind of emotional underpinning to it.
Yeah.
All the classic episodes, Homer, the one where Homer's mum comes back,
Yes.
is a ridiculous premise that his mum's a terrorist. I mean, it is the kind of thing that comes completely from left field and is sort of a joke, but it works because it's treated as Homer being genuinely scarred by his experience with his mum. It works completely. Brilliant idea doing that. Doesn't work here, like any of the stuff, because there is no reason to care.
No, there is none, no.
Homer is just a horrible human being in this and all, isn't it?
That's it, yeah, he's, I was saying this, but like, in the early seasons, he's a bumbling fool, and he makes some bad mistakes, but you can see why Marge still loves him.
Yeah.
And why he stays with him. Here, he is psychotic. He's a threat to his family.
Yeah.
He's a threat to their lives and to their safety. And you've got no idea why social services either haven't taken him away or Marge asked for a divorce.
Yeah. Like, the stuff in this and all is more cartoony.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bit where Homer is driving the car and it gets hit by a truck.
Oh, yeah.
No, not a truck, a train.
Yeah.
And it's on the front of the train and it's going across and the train driver knocks him off with a stick and then it spins around and starts on fire. That would never fly in the classic Simpsons.
No, it wouldn't, no.
Because it's stupid and ridiculous and doesn't work.
I hated it.
It's just, this episode, I can see why people think this is the worst. And I would actually agree that this and Saddlesore Galactica are the worst episodes of The Simpsons that they would ever do. Because they are like the cause of all the issues that we have later on. And it feels this season really weirdly as if they had full control of the writers, but were hacks.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they were like reined in a little bit later on, like, don't make all those awful decisions.
Don't do season 11 again.
Yeah. It feels like they were reined in more, because I can imagine that might have actually been what happened. Like, think about it, like, if you're going off the success of seasons 2, I mean artistically, obviously 1 was also successful, 2 to 9, I can't remember 10 enough to say whether it's still great or not.
Not really.
2 to 9, even 9 stops.
9 is getting a little bit middling, yeah.
But if you're coming off that artistic success, they let you do what you want. New showrunner, is it? Oh, what's the guy called?
Oh,
the hack.
Yeah, because he was a really unpopular showrunner.
Yeah.
I forgot. I don't know his name. But
yeah, but if you're that guy then, given full control, you're just going to be able to do this kind of shit. They might rein you back afterwards. I feel like that might have been what happened.
Yeah.
Because the stuff they're doing is just weird. It's so different from what they've done before, and so poor and so out there.
Oh well, got all the jockeys like elves in that.
That's Saddlesore Galactica.
God,
that one's slightly worse.
Okay.
I don't know actually. Maybe this one's worse because this one is just a complete tonal. At least that one has one story.
True.
This is just every 2 minutes it changes to something else, and each episode of this, like each individual bit, almost feels like a rip-off of something else.
Yeah.
So you've got the beginning with the psychiatrist and him going insane. Maybe that's fear of flying, the Marge episode. Yeah. Then you've got Homerpalooza again. Then you've got what would be the main thing after that? Them escaping prison. They've done that several times.
Yeah.
You've got the bit where they're like undercover with with that woman? That woman.
With the awful character trait.
Yeah, how would you describe her?
Awful.
You describe her as awful?
Yes.
Yes.
Her one character trait is, like, someone says a remark, she comments, and says she likes it.
Yeah.
So she's like,
I like that.
You took the stars for window, presumes I give you the job. I like that.
That joke would be okay if they didn't repeat it over and over again.
Yeah.
If it wasn't done 4 times in the space of 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Tell me, little lady, do you want to be a mob girl? No, I like your honesty. I like that. No, you're honest. I like that. And you two, you're sitting very dead quiet. I like that.
Yeah. Just doesn't work. They're relying on cheap characterization.
Yeah.
Like, The Simpsons used to be great at having characters who would just be usually played by Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
And they would come on and they'd steal the show.
Yeah.
They wouldn't just say, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Thankfully, The Simpsons it just became average after season 11.
Yeah.
But season 11 for me is just the low point.
It's awful.
It's an awful season of television. This episode is just as bad as all the fans say. Never ever watch Kill the Alligator and Run.
Never do it.
I would actually say this is my least favourite episode. I didn't think it'd be worse than Saddlesore Galactica. Because that episode's abysmal. But as I say, it's better structured.
Yeah.
And it's just, this episode is just awful. None of the jokes land. There's no emotional undercurrent. It's not as bizarre as Saddlesore, so it doesn't get off on sheer sort of
weirdness
and like Schadenfreude, however you pronounce that word. It's not got anything like that. It's just, oh God, it's awful.
Abysmal.
Would you go as low as to give it a 1 out of 10?
Yes, it's a 1 out of 10, yeah.
Oh my God, I would as well.
Yeah, it's a 1.
Yeah. Simpsons, what were you thinking when the Simpsons writers wrote this? I mean, the voice casts sound
bored.
You
know, I remember listening to an interview with Dan Castellaneta, and he was like, we've done so many episodes of The Simpsons now, I don't remember what the individual episodes are anymore. Don't you care enough to at least remember what the episodes are? But even he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He clearly doesn't care. He just knows, I can make a funny voice and I will get paid millions to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Homer. Oh, Dole.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's just rubbish. This is a rubbish episode of television that epitomises every single flaw with later Simpsons. As I say, at least the course corrected. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'd prefer it if it just kept going worse and worse.
It'd be funny at least.
Yeah, it'd be funny to watch it and know that it was going to be abysmal in new and interesting ways every week. But yeah, season 11, low point for The Simpsons. This is awful. So it's a year since we did Saddlesore Galactica. Maybe next year we'll watch the Moe's Dish Rag episode, or that 90s show, or other infamously awful episodes.
Principal and the Pauper.
That one's not bad.
I don't think it's bad. I've never thought Principal Pauper was that bad.
No.
The concept is inherently incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about it another time. But you should listen to a commentary for an episode from the writers. It's hilarious.
Was it defensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredibly defensive. It's like the head writer's like, don't you find it really weird that people get attached to these cartoon characters? They're just cartoon characters. I just find it really weird people get so defensive about these characters. It's like, so you're just going to diminish your entire fan base right there. For basically saying that their cares and wants and want to see these characters done justice is invalid because you think it's sad.
David Milch would never say that.
David Milch would never say that.
No.
But we'll get to Principal Pauper another time.
In fact, that should be that'll be the next shit's peak. That'll be next week.
I think it should be, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be next week. But
we need to watch the episode and then watch it with a commentary.
Yeah.
Because it is just as entertaining as the actual episode. It's really funny.
Yeah. But yes, that was Kill the Alligator and Run, an abysmal episode of television. Never ever watch it. If you were a defender of this, I'm more than happy to hash it out in the... because some people, I reckon, will defend this and say, hey man, it's trying something different. Which I suppose it should get props for rather than trying to repeat... No, it shouldn't actually.
No, it should, because they repeat stuff anyway.
Yeah, they do.
So no.
No.
They just try to make like they're doing a new thing, but they're not. They're just repeating old stuff. Oh
God, it was all... In fact, the lemon tree episode.
Oh,
I got a distinct feel of the lemon tree with the alligator.
Yeah.
So nothing this does is
Nothing's
new.
original.
Oh, it's awful. The worst episode in Simpsons history might be this. We've not watched ones that aren't considered to be as bad, like that 90s show, or these are considered to be awful, that 90s show and the Moe's Dish Rag one. We will have to watch those at some point, but next week we'll watch Principal and the Pauper, try and get some of this Simpsons shit out of our system. But any closing thoughts on Kill the Alligator and Run?
No.
It's just awful.
The alligator needs to stay dead.
Needs to stay dead.
Yeah.
Do you think they should have cancelled The Simpsons after this episode?
Yes.
Yes.
if this wasn't proof enough, but the show keeps making money.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep on making it until it's not profitable anymore.
Sad, but oh well.